Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow you guys to just see my whole entire screen. So I'm going to blow this up, and this is the information that we're getting. So this is the letter that we have received. We are providing the records we have responsive to your request for the report and audio tape of the CBI's recent interview with Christopher Watts. I would like to add a personal request for caution and discretion as you make decisions regarding that information you disseminate and how you choose to do so. The new details that Mr. Watts has shared, particularly about the specific manner in which he killed his family, are deeply disturbing. Moreover, those details have the very real potential to cause a secondary trauma reaction for many individuals. You guys, we talked about this yesterday. There's a lot of people that are dealing with PTSD right now. I've gotten a lot more emails since I've brought this up. So reach out to someone. Be kind. I'm going to say that again later, but this is what they're talking about. It is our instinct to protect this information or redact it beyond what we have to respect and protect the victims' families, children, and others that this information could harm, but we find no legally defensible method to do so. We have access to services to assist our staff that are exposed to material of this nature in the course of their duties, but many people have no such access. Please understand the nature of this material and use your wisdom and good judgment regarding its harmful content. You guys, we just got a letter from Stan Hilke, the Executive Director of Colorado Department of Public Safety, saying that this information, I'm going to highlight this. Oh, it's not going to let me. The information that he shared specifically is deeply disturbing and moreover could cause a secondary trauma for other individuals. So, this is a lovely picture. I know people were thinking that he gained a lot of weight. I don't see that. I'm downloading audio on my other... Okay, for some reason it's not letting me. Bear with me here. I bet you it's because I'm logged into a bunch of others. Hang on. Let me log out of everything over here. So this is one of the pictures they gave us. This is the other, very similar. You guys, that look on his face, man. Those deep eyes. Holy crap. All right. This is the report and the interview. Let me try and... I'm trying to get this audio stuff to work here. My goodness. Okay, I had to sign out of everything. Now let me sign back in. And I should be able to download the audio. So they send it through Google Drive, you guys, and sometimes if you have more than one thing open, it's going to cause you issues, so I apologize for that. So while that's working, let me make sure, because this is going to take a long time to download, so I want to make sure we're able to do that. I want to give this to you guys as soon as possible, so bear with me just a second. Alright, let's see here. What do you guys think about his picture? Oh, his freaking eyes, man. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to have that audio. We're going to be able to download it. Let me see. Come on. Why do you have to be so difficult? Here we go. Alright, I've got them downloading right now. Here's the second one. And they're playing. Alright, I'm going to pause it. Okay, we can access that while it's downloading. So here's the report, you guys. This is from the Colorado Bureau of Investigations. The report date, February 18th, 2019. Follow-up interview with Christopher Watts at I'm assuming that's the prison location. If I have any issues with audio, please say something in like all caps or something. It's hard for me to keep up with all of the chat right now. So welcome everybody that's joined. Thank you for joining. And here we go. The reporting law enforcement officer, we had Tammy Lee. A lot of you know who that is. That's the female that kind of put those words in his mouth that Shannon might have killed the kids. Has who it was approved by and the approval date of February 22nd. So the synopsis, here we go. On February 18th, 2019, At approximately 7:45 a.m., I, Colorado Bureau of Investigation Agent Tammy Lee, along with Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Special Agent S.A., Graham Coder, and Frederick Police Department Detective Dave Baumover, arrived at the blank. The purpose for our visit to the blank is to interview Christopher Lee Watts, 5/16/1985, concerning the murder of his pregnant wife and daughters, as well as to discuss other individuals who claim to have an affair with Watts during his marriage. Wow. You hear that, guys? So they went to interview him concerning the murder of his pregnant wife and daughters, as well as to discuss other individuals who claim to have an affair with Watts during the marriage. This report documents a follow-up interview conducted with Christopher Lee Watts, who was sentenced on November of 2018 to 3 consecutive life terms in prison, plus 84 years without the possibility of parole. I'll put up the picture again here in a minute once I get through this as well. Subject number 1, arrested subject, Christopher Lee Watts, 33 years old. Gives the information, tells us where he was. Okay. We'll skip through that. Synopsis. On February 18th, 2019 at approximately 7:45. Okay, so that just goes over that same information. So we'll skip on to the next. This report documents a follow-up interview conducted with Christopher Lee Watts, who was sentenced in November for the sentencing time. Action taken. So it says that they showed up and what their purpose was that we already went over. The purpose was to interview Christopher Lee Watts concerning the murder of his pregnant wife, Shannon, and their 2 young daughters, Bella, age 4, and Celeste, Cece, age 3, in August of 2018. In addition, information was provided during the investigation to suggest that Watts may have had additional affairs during his marriage to Shannon, with a male named Trent Bolt. Oh man, here, you guys, Trent Bolt's coming up, and a female named Amanda McMahon. There we go. She's coming up again as well. Watts was unable to be interviewed about Bolt and McMahon prior to being moved out of state by the Colorado Department of Corrections. Upon arrival to the prison, we were escorted into a large open room which the staff referred to as the computer room. The room contained empty cubicles with chairs, no computers, which lined the walls. We activated our covert digital recording devices and also used several covert video recording devices. Watts was brought into the room a short time later, and we asked him if he remembered us. Watts looked puzzled for a brief second and then indicated he recalled who we were. We asked Watts how he was doing, and he said good, and asked how we were doing. Watts said he did not expect to see us. S.A. Coder initiated the interview with Watts and explained we were not here to speak with him about an open investigation. S.A. Coder explained to Watts that his life and situation was unique, and we wanted to fully understand what happened. S.A. Coder asked Watts if he was available to speak with us, and he answered definitely. S.A. Coder told Watts if there was something he didn't want to talk about, that was okay. S.A. Coder told Watts to tell us if he needed to take a break at any point. You guys, this is exactly what I was thinking we are going to get. This is an overview of the whole interview. Watts explained he enjoyed being in the blank prison much more than the Weld County Jail in Colorado. Watts said when he was in jail in Colorado, other inmates would constantly yell at him from their cells, giving him, as in Watts, advice how he could kill himself in his cell, and what other inmates would do to him given the chance. Watts said everyone in the jail knew him and why he was there. Watts explained the jail had to lock down all of the inmates just for him to walk down the hallway. We talked about this yesterday. He was signing his death sentence by talking about all of the things that he has done. So this might actually take place where he is now. Watts said he had never actually saw any other inmates in the Weld County Jail, but he could hear them all yell at him. Watts said that he had been able to call his father, mother, and sister since he's been incarcerated. Watts said he wasn't sure what his parents were going to say at his sentencing hearing in Colorado, and didn't expect them to be present since they had just returned to North Carolina. S.A. Coder asked Watts if he could start to ask him questions, and Watts said go ahead. S.A. Coder asked Watts if he knew the case was a national story, and Watts said he learned it was after his attorney told him there were people from Australia asking about his case. Watts said he received numerous letters with no return addresses, but he was only allowed to read them and could not keep the letters in his cell. Watts said there was a person who lived in Broomfield, Colorado, who wrote him 4 times a week and wanted to come and visit him. Watts said he also had people write to him and told him he was a monster. This is all with regard to Trent Bolt. S.A. Coder explained the investigation revealed numerous people who claimed to have known, dated, or had sexual relations with him, being Watts. S.A. Coder asked Watts if he had heard about the people claiming to have affairs with him, and he said yes. Watts said his attorney, John Walsh, told him a male from Wyoming named Trent Bolt claimed to have an affair with him. S.A. Coder explained Bolt's claims, and Watts denied knowing or having a relationship with Bolt. Watts said he was shown a picture of Bolt by his attorney and did not recognize him. Watts claimed he had never been to Wyoming and indicated he has never had any gay experiences or interests in the past. Watts said Bolt claimed to have met him on an application called WhatsApp, and he said Watts had never heard of it before. With regard to Amanda McMahon, Detective Baumover asked Watts about Amanda McMahon. Watts said he didn't know McMahon. Baumover shows Watts a picture of McMahon's driver's license picture on his cell phone. Watts advised it was the same photograph shown to him by his attorney Walsh. Watts said Walsh explained McMahon claimed to have a rendezvous in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Watts said he had only been to one Chick-fil-A in Colorado, and it was located in Broomfield off of Highway 7. We asked Watts if he wanted to see Bolt and McMahon charged with a crime, if it was warranted, and he said no. Watts said there are always people who take advantage of situations, and they, being Bolt and McMahon, need to look into themselves to figure out why they did it. Watts said he did not believe charging them with a crime would do any good. With regards to Watts' relationship with Nicole Kessinger, S.A. Coder asked Watts if he felt comfortable telling us if he had affairs with other people, and Watts said yes. Watts told us he only had an affair with Nicole Kessinger. S.A. Coder asked Watts if he ever had any one-night stands, and he said no. Around June 1st, 2018, he met Kessinger at work, Anna Darko. He had a gas meter that didn't work, and took it to Kessinger to have it fixed. He and Kessinger ran into each other a few times in the office and would chat about work. Around the 4th time meeting Kessinger, he mentioned, "We moved from North Carolina." Kessinger asked him what he meant by "we" in quotation marks, and he took out his cell phone and showed a picture of his daughters. Kessinger also saw a picture of Shannon on his lock screen. Kessinger knew he was married and had children. He knew Kessinger lied and said he didn't know he was married. Kessinger was trying to save face. He's blasting Kessinger right now. He has not talked to Kessinger since his arrest. I would like to have that confirmed. I would love to see that. Hey guys, if you could give me some likes on this video, that way we can get it out there as well. I know a lot of people are showing the audio. This is going over the whole report on what we're going to hear on the audio, so I would really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that's come in as well. He says that he hopes Kessinger hasn't written to him in a different alias that he does not recognize. So that's interesting to throw that out there, in my opinion. He didn't wear a wedding ring at work because it was getting sized since it was a little too big after he lost weight and it kept falling off. Kessinger texted him one day when he was working in the field, and their text messages to each other continued. One day he and Kessinger text message kind of went to a different level. Kessinger talked about them meeting up after he returned from a trip with Shannon to San Diego. Those were some of the pictures that I was showing you the other day, guys, where they looked so happy. He went to San Diego from June 22nd to the 26th of 2018. After he returned home from San Diego, he and Kessinger met at a park in Thornton, Colorado. He and Kessinger continued to see each other almost the entire month of July of 2018. He initially thought his relationship with Kessinger was just flirting at work. He wished he would have worked more out in the field, so he never got close to Kessinger. Okay. When he became a field coordinator, he was forced to spend more time in the office, and he would constantly run into Kessinger. He wished he could talk to Kessinger one last time to apologize to her about what happened and what she went through. Wow. See, again, he feels bad for Kessinger, but obviously never felt bad for his own family, and that crap pisses me off. He didn't know if Kessinger had received counseling or if she had to leave the state due to the publicity of the case. Kessinger refused to speak to his, meaning Watt's, attorney. He hoped Kessinger found normalcy because Anadarko was her dream job. With regard to if he loved Kessinger, I felt like it was true. Jeez. He felt like Kessinger pursued him, which was unusual for him. He felt more in control when he was with Kessinger because she would ask his opinion on things and what he wanted to do. I've mentioned that before, you guys. She gave him a little bit more control than what Shannon did. He felt like he could be himself around Kessinger, unlike Shannon. The first time he and Kessinger went out, they went out to a movie at the Orchard off of 144th. He asked Kessinger if she wanted to see a movie, and she agreed. So it sounds like he asked her out the first time. The movie was sold out, and they walked around for 2 hours and talked. Kessinger wanted to go to a Shelby car museum in Boulder, which he enjoyed. He and Kessinger went to a drag race at Bandimere Speedway, which reminded him of his childhood. He and Kessinger went camping in the Sand Dunes National Park, which he always wanted to do. Every time he opened up his phone and saw pictures of his wife and children, he questioned what he was doing with Kessinger. Every time he was with Kessinger, he felt like he didn't think there was a blinder in my face. He has pictures of his wife and daughters in his prison cell, and he talks to them every morning and every night. My stomach just sank. Holy shit. He has a book in his cell, which was the same book he used to read to Celeste. He reads the book to his daughters, along with some scripture, every night. He wished it never happened, and he never had a blinder over his eyes and could have seen what was going on. He stayed at Kessinger's house almost every night his wife and daughters were in North Carolina. Oh, wow. He felt like he didn't have time at home to think about his marriage when Shannon and the girls were out of state. He went home after work to work out, eat dinner, and then would go over to Kessinger's house. He slept over at Kessinger's house almost the entire month of July. Being away from home allowed him to not think about being a father and husband because he wasn't surrounded by reminders of his family. What a joke, you guys. I told you, he was living the bachelor life. He wasn't even thinking about his daughters. My gosh. He wished he had met Kessinger at work and kept it as a work relationship only. It feels like a roller coaster ride, and I just kept punching a ticket on and never could get off. Kessinger wanted to have sex all the time. He never had to worry about saying something stupid around Kessinger, and never had to plan what he was going to say when he was with her, as in Kessinger. Kessinger asked him if he had ever strayed away before, and he told her no. He told Kessinger that it felt like he had a leash on him and she was able to tug him away from Shannon. Now this section is with regards to Watt's relationship with Shannon. Watts explained his first date with Shannon. Shannon said he wasn't her type. Watts said that he always had to pursue Shannon and always helped organize her medications inside her pillbox. Watts said he went to Shannon's colonoscopy a few months after they got together, and she told him she knew that he was a keeper after he went. I remember watching a live where she said that she gave him so many outs and the colonoscopy was one and he just kept staying. His mother always was hesitant about Shannon. He was the baby of the family and never had a girlfriend in high school. He moved out of his house after high school graduation at 18 years old and never came back. His sisters always moved back and forth with their parents. He met Shannon when he was 25 years old. The longest relationship he had before Shannon was approximately 6 months. You guys, this is very telling into the history of Chris Watts and his relationships. He is more reserved and goes with the flow. Shannon made most of the decisions in the house, which we kind of figured out. Bear with me, I'm taking a drink here. Now, this is in regards to what happened to Shannon, Bella, and Celeste. Here we're about to get into the details, you guys. Shannon arrived home around 2 a.m., and he felt her get into bed. He felt Shannon stirring around in bed, and he felt like she knew he was having an affair. He had used his credit card when he went out to dinner with Kessinger because he didn't have another Anadarko gift card and couldn't ask Kessinger to pay. Shannon started rubbing her hand on his leg or chest, and they had sexual intercourse. Watts said he and Shannon had sex at approximately 2:30 a.m. He and Shannon had sex in the missionary position. This is really detailed, you guys, sorry. He felt like sex with Shannon was more of a test. He felt strange when he had sex with Shannon and questioned who he was and who he had become. Having sex with Shannon may have been a trigger point, or like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up. He and Shannon fell asleep after they had sex. When he woke up that morning, he got ready for work and then returned to the bed and woke Shannon up to talk. Shannon was sleeping face down and rolled over onto her back to talk to him. He felt like he had to say something to Shannon. He straddled Shannon on the bed around her wrist, or around her waist. He believed Shannon initially thought he wanted to have sex with her again since he was on top of her. Shannon told him he was hurting the baby. He and Shannon talked for approximately 15 to 20 minutes with him standing on top of her, or with him straddling on top of her. He was concerned Shannon knew about his affair, and she and the kids wouldn't be there when he got home from work that evening. He felt like either Shannon would take the kids away from the house or would lock him out when he tried to come home after work. He asked Shannon if they could cancel their couple's trip to Aspen. He asked Shannon if they could move to Brighton, Colorado so they could get away from their house. He felt like going out on Saturday evening with Kessinger and using the credit card was going to be the last straw. Shannon told him she knew there was someone else and cried. He denied having an affair. I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before. He told Shannon he didn't think their marriage was going to work. He did not feel like he and Shannon were compatible with each other. Anything that's new, referring to his relationship with Kessinger, always feels better than the old. He always felt nervous around Shannon and never felt like he could be himself. Shannon asked him, "What about last night?" Shannon hadn't taken off her bra and didn't wash her face before she got into bed, so she had mascara running down her face. He and Shannon's conversation lasted less than 30 minutes. Shannon told him to get off of her and that she knew he had someone else. He couldn't bring himself to tell her about Kessinger. He told Shannon he didn't love her, and Shannon said, "You were never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see them again. Get off of me. Don't hurt the baby." You guys, this is a disgusting pig. Holy crap. Okay. I'm not following up with chat. I super apologize, but I welcome everyone that's in. I will catch up on more when we're finished with all of this. He immediately put both of his hands around Shannon's neck and strangled her. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that? Referring to strangling Shannon before I got on top of her. Like, everything that happened that morning. I don't know. Like I try to go back in my head. I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. Everything just kind of like, it just felt like it was, I don't even want to say it felt like I had to do it. It just felt like there was already something in my head that was implanted that I was going to do it, or gonna do it. And when I woke up in the morning, it was gonna happen, and I had no control over it. That right there, that paragraph makes me think that it was premeditated, even if he thought about it for a few seconds before he did it. At the sentencing, he heard the prosecutor say it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone to death, so why couldn't I just let go? He doesn't want to know what Shanann saw when she looked back at him while he was strangling her. Watts denied covering Shanann's head or her face with anything when he strangled her. Shanann never fought back or screamed. He does not know why Shanann didn't fight back. He believes Shanann may have been praying. Oh my gosh. He read the Bible that said, "Forgive these people, for they do not know what they do," and maybe Shanann was saying that in her head at the time. When he was asked to take off his shirt so he could check for defensive wounds, he knew immediately he didn't have any because Shanann never fought back. He does not recall Shanann's arm being pinned down by his knees. I feel like in the back of my head that was going to happen. And just like at the time of the conversation, it was just like that's what happened. I just wished I could have let go. Time seemed to stand still, and he was still... Time seemed to stand still, and he saw his life disappearing before his eyes, but he couldn't let go. It was like picturing someone around you, holding your arms, holding you and keeping you from letting go. He felt like he was in a rage and snapped. His attorney mentioned the crime of strangulation was passionate, and he does understand how that could be passionate. That morning, it was a new type of fight. There was emotion at first, but there was more anger than anything else because there was no love there. I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her. Shanann knew something wasn't right and wanted to fix it. After Shanann was gone, he didn't know what was happening and felt like it was a traumatic event. He was shaking and didn't know what had happened. He didn't know what to do and didn't know what he had done. He wasn't in the right state of mind and wasn't in control of his thoughts or actions. People ask why he didn't call 911, but no one knows what they would do in that same situation. After Shanann was dead, Bella walked into their room holding her blanket and asked what was wrong with Mommy. He believed Bella may have been woken up by the noise. He told Bella, "Mommy don't feel good." Bella thought Shanann was sleeping. He wrapped Shanann's face down in the bedsheet, which was recovered at the oil site. Shanann was still wearing her shirt, bra, and underwear that she had on when she got into bed. He tried to carry Shanann down the stairs and lost his grip and ended up having to pull her down the stairs. Bella watched him drag Shanann down the stairs and began to cry and said, "What's wrong with Mommy?" He told Bella again that her mommy didn't feel good. My God. Poor Bella, you guys. Bella is a smart girl and knew what was going on. Bella never touched Shanann or tried to wake her up. Bella followed him down the stairs. He backed his pickup into the driveway and put Shanann in the back seat of his truck on the floorboard. When he returned inside, Celeste was in her room and was starting to get out of her bed. He believed the noise of Shanann's feet hitting the stairs. As he dragged her down the stairs might have woken up Celeste. So when he was taking her down the stairs, he thinks that he woke up Celeste. Bella and Celeste were light sleepers. Bella and Celeste were walking around the house. Every time he sees pictures of Bella and Celeste, he doesn't understand how all of it could have happened. Being a dad was the best part of his life, and he took it all away. He felt like someone else had control over him that day, and he wasn't able to fight back. When the prosecutor said Bella bit her tongue repeatedly, he wanted to bang his head up against the wall. I'm sorry, but maybe he should have. At that point, he put his lunchbox in the truck, and then he put Bella and Celeste in the back of his truck on the bench seat. Okay, so we were told a little bit something different, I feel like, by the attorneys, or it was misinterpreted, so it sounds like Shanann was actually on the floorboard, and the kids were on the bench seat. Shanann was lying on the floorboard. Bella asked, "Is Mommy okay?" He told Bella and Celeste that Mommy would be fine. Bella and Celeste each had a blanket with them, and Celeste had a stuffed animal. It was a barking dog. He put a gas can in the back of his truck and felt like he could get rid of himself at the same time. He didn't feel like he deserved to live or be on this earth after what had happened. After everything happened, he considered taking his own life as well. He did not commit suicide because he felt like if he did at that oil site, he may have ended up hurting more people than just himself. He knew there were other people in the area and didn't want something to catch fire or blow up. He does not own any weapons, but nothing seemed right that morning. As he drove out to the oil site with Shannon, Bella, and Celeste, he was nervous, shaking, and didn't know what was going to happen. He knew at that moment his life was completely changed. He has tried to picture the long road out of the oil site and wondered if he could have saved his girl's life. He was thinking during the entire drive. He has read books about how dads could never hurt their children, and he has wondered, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. He had wanted his whole life to be a dad, and nothing made sense, including the oil tank. During the ride, the girls were dozing on and off, held each other, and laid in each other's laps. Oh my gosh. During the ride, Bella said, "Daddy, it smells." When he got to the oil site, he took Shannon out of the back of the truck and pulled her over and laid her on the ground near where she was ultimately buried. Bella and Celeste were still sitting in the back of the truck as he removed Shannon. Bella and Celeste asked him, "What are you doing to Mommy?" He doesn't recall what he told them. He returned to the truck and Cece was first. Celeste had a blue Yankees blanket and put it over her head. He strangled Celeste in the back seat. He put his hand over Celeste's mouth and nose over the blanket and his other hand around the front of Celeste's neck. You guys, give me just a second. I normally don't get like this, but holy crap. Bella was seated right beside Celeste as he strangled her, but Bella didn't say anything. He had no idea how long it took to strangle or smother Celeste because he had no concept of time. With regard to what he was thinking at the time, I wasn't. If I was thinking, this wouldn't have happened, or any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, and none of this would have happened, so I wasn't thinking. After Celeste died, he took Celeste out of the truck, walked her up to the oil tank, opened the hatch, and dropped her inside feet first. He believed it was tight when he put Celeste through the hatch on the oil tank. He did not have to hit Celeste into the oil tank, but may have had to manipulate her to get her inside. He closed the hatch on the oil tank and returned to his truck. When he got to the truck, Bella asked him what happened to Cece. Bella asked him in her soft voice, "Is the same thing going to happen to me as Cece?" He is not sure if he told Bella yes, like a horrible person. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is worse than I thought. I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but this is bad. Gosh, you guys. He then put the Yankees blanket over Bella's head and did the same thing. Bella said, "Daddy, no," and that was the last word she spoke. He put his hands over Bella's nose and mouth, over the blanket, and his other hand around the front of her neck. With regard to Bella's injuries in her mouth, Bella's head was twisting back and forth under the blanket while he was smothering and strangling her. He could hear Bella grunt as she tried to breathe. He noticed a couple of spots over Bella's eye when he picked her up. He walked Bella up to the separate oil tank, opened the hatch, and dropped Bella inside, feet first. Bella seemed harder to get into the tank than Celeste, but he just had to manipulate her to get her inside. He does not know why he put Bella and Celeste in separate oil tanks. Bella and Celeste were not alive when he put them in the oil tanks. After he put Bella into the oil tank, he returned to where Shannon was located and started to clear away some weeds with his rake. The rake broke when he used it to remove the weeds, and he left part of it out at the site. He does not believe he ever thought about going back for the broken part of the rake. He dug a hole with his shovel and put Shannon inside. Shannon was not bleeding or cut when he buried her. He recalled Shannon's eyes were bloodshot. Shannon had partially given birth when he buried her in the ground. We knew this happened. It's called a coffin birth. I didn't know he saw it. What a freaking monster, you guys. Shannon was wearing a shirt and blue-colored underwear. Every time he closes his eyes, he hears Bella say, "Daddy, no." He hears it every day. Just thinking about the oil tanks makes him want to throw up. Frank Rusick said at his sentencing that he was trying to separate everyone, and that was not true. He felt like someone else was in control of what he was doing. He did not consider the fact that it may have helped with detection of putting the girls in separate oil tanks. He didn't consider putting the girls with Shannon because everything happened so fast, and I had no time to really have a thought that was my own. He didn't purposely try to separate any of them. With regard to the trash bag found at the oil site, or the oil tank site, he didn't want the girls looking at Shannon in the back seat of his truck, so he placed one trash bag on her feet and the other around her head. The girls didn't know what was going on. After the murders, the Yankees blanket was still in his truck and he threw it away. He stopped by a construction dumpster in his neighborhood and threw away his clothes and the Yankees blanket on his way home from work on Monday. He keeps extra boots and clothes in his work truck, which he changed into after the murders. He felt like taking Celeste and Bella's lives was caused by an anger with Shannon that he took out on everyone in front of him that morning. He had never been angry before, and this was like the epitome of being angry. He had rage and lost his mind. He was angry with Shannon over separating him from his family. When he and Shannon got married, he told his family he didn't need them anymore because he had Shannon. He cussed his mother out and did things to his family he never thought he would do. He is not sure if Shannon coached him or not, referring to how Watts treated his family. He was angry ever since July of 2018 when Shannon told him his parents could never see their granddaughters again. I don't know if that has something to do with it. That something inside me just triggered it, and then it was just like all that pent up from the wedding and everything. It's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end. His mother and Shannon never got along after he proposed in 2012. His mother and Shannon never agreed on anything. His mother possibly thought Shannon wasn't good enough. His mother always thought Shannon was hiding something from her past from him. His mother and sister didn't like Shannon and felt like Shannon took him away from them and moved him out to Colorado. His grandmother was the only one who came to his wedding. He danced with his grandmother and his friend's mother during the groom's dance at his wedding. He would have never thought his marriage and relationship to Shannon was bad if he hadn't met Kessinger. He looks outside every day and wonders what he could have been doing with his kids. Right now, I'd have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and more like a 1-month-old son and a beautiful wife, and right now, it's just me. With regard to finding out, Shannon was pregnant with Nico. Shannon was pregnant with Nico within 2 weeks of trying. He was surprised and scared when he found out Shannon was pregnant. He may not have looked excited about the pregnancy because he may have felt guilty about talking to Kessinger at work. There were never any incidents of domestic violence between him and Shannon during their relationship. Shannon was the dominant person who always took control over everything. He always just went with the flow and always wanted to be in the back row. He never felt belittled by Shannon. Hey, you guys, this is telling. This is coming straight from his mouth. He says he never felt belittled by Shannon. He was the introvert, and Shannon took control of most situations. He hated being in videos, but he went along with it because it was for Shannon's business. He couldn't tell Shannon he didn't want to be in the videos because it would have made her mad. Shannon was a good salesperson and could have sold anything we were wearing back to us without us even knowing. He hated being out there for everyone to see and was against doing their gender reveal on Facebook Live. With regard to Watts' plans to do about his missing family, he had no idea what he was going to do. He didn't understand how he was able to act normal around his coworkers. His plan was not well thought out and not of a criminal minds type of thing. With regards to how Watts felt when he wore Thrive patches. When he put on the Duo burn patches, his Apple Watch would show he was exercising all day because of his increased heart rate. When he wore the Duo burn patches, it felt like he was working out all day. Kessinger told him he would sometimes fall asleep on her couch in the middle of a conversation and then wake up and finish what he was saying. Watts indicated it may have been related to insomnia. He felt different on the Duo burn patches than when he wore any other Thrive patch. The Duo burn patches made him feel like he could go longer and longer each day. He only slept approximately 3 hours each night. Looking back, he realized God gave him plenty of opportunities for him to get out, referring to the getting out of the relationship with Kessinger. His friend Jeremy Lindstrom asked him to go to the Broncos game with him on Saturday, August 11th, in the evening, and Watts said no. He should have gone with Lindstrom and told Kessinger he couldn't find a babysitter. Being away from Kessinger might have caused the light switch to go off in his head. If he would have gone to the Broncos game, it may have put him in a different trajectory. He wished now that he and Shannon only went to North Carolina for a week, and that Shannon wasn't gone for 5 weeks straight. I thought that might have had a lot to do with it, that's a lot of time to be away from your partner. He was with Kessinger the whole time. When the incident with Celeste and all the nut allergy occurred at his parents', which he referred to as Nutgate, he should have stopped everything with Kessinger and concentrated on fixing the relationship with Shannon and his family. Shannon and his parents got into a serious argument over the nut incident, and his nephew told Bella to hide behind the curtain because he didn't think her mom, Shannon, would let her ever come back again. Celeste celebrated her birthday in North Carolina a few days after July 17, 2018, and his parents did not attend after Shannon made a post of Facebook about allergies. Shannon said that the post wasn't directed at anyone in particular, but Shannon had a method to the madness. Shannon was convinced his, as in Watts, mother tried to kill their daughter by putting nuts in front of Celeste. His mother felt like Celeste's allergy was not serious. After the incident with the nut allergy and Celeste, he didn't speak to his parents until August 6th of 2018. His parents said they weren't sure if they could ever forgive Shannon. His parents asked him if he had someone else because they saw him, Watts, texting someone, being Kessinger, the entire time he was at their house in North Carolina. Shannon told him, Watts, he wasn't allowed to call or talk to his parents. His dad was his hero, and he felt like he lost him because he wasn't able to talk to him for 3 weeks. His father took the entire week off when they were in North Carolina, but Shannon booked them for 5 days at the beach instead. With regard to what Watts and Kessinger talked about regarding their future together, we're about, I'd say, 2/3 of the way done with this, you guys, so we still have a decent amount of information we're about to find out. Kessinger told him she would help him find an affordable apartment around Brighton or Fort Lupton. Okay, so this is the apartment that we've been talking about. Kessinger did not want him to move in with her. It would have been too soon to move in with Kessinger because they had only dated for about a month. Kessinger's apartment was her shield, or her safe place, and was a reason she never liked people to come over. Kessinger let him come over because her dog liked him, and she felt like he belonged there. Seriously? Shannon always checked his cell phone, so he communicated with Kessinger on his work phone. He used a secret calculator app on his personal cell phone to store his and Kessinger's picture. He deleted his Facebook account on August 8, 2018, after Kessinger told him she told her friends about him. Oh, there we go. Now we know why he deleted his Facebook. He was afraid Kessinger's friends would try to look him up on Facebook and would see that his wife was pregnant. With regard to if him and Kessinger ever fought, they never fought, but he had to calm Kessinger down a few times. Kessinger got upset when she realized that she would always be the other person, and he, as in Watts, would always put his wife first. The first incident where Kessinger realized he put his wife first was when he left her house on July 4th of 2018. He told Kessinger just because he had to leave didn't mean she needed to take a step back. Kessinger told him she thought it was better they didn't see each other the rest of the day on July 4th of 2018. Kessinger ended up asking him to come over after she returned from a baseball game and went to her house. Kessinger set up a couple dates on her eHarmony app, and the men never showed up. He didn't know Kessinger was dating other people until a few weeks later. Kessinger thought he was different because he would fix things around her apartment for her, which no one had done for her in the past. Kessinger's friend Jim was her friend for a long time and worked in the oil field. With regard to the selling of his and Shannon's house, around the first week of August 2018, Shannon sent an email to Ann Meadows about selling their house. Meadows recommended that they get pre-approved for another house before they sold their house. He and Shannon talked about buying a home in Brighton, Colorado, so they could stay in the Adams 12 school district. He and Shannon had a lot of stress during their marriage, which included Shannon's parents living with them for 16 months and not having much time alone. He never thought that he and Shannon would have to file for bankruptcy. Most of the bankruptcy dealt with credit card debt from their wedding. They had a lot of doctor bills from the girls always being sick. They were behind on their mortgage payments. Shannon was sending checks for their HOA payments to the wrong address for an entire year. He didn't have access to their bank account on his cell phone and never asked Shannon to see their account. Ever since he sold his four-wheeler for less than he owed on it, Shannon wouldn't let him do anything with their finances. When he worked for Longmont Ford, he would just bring Shannon his paycheck. With regards to Watts calling the school the morning after the murders, he was freaking out, in quotes, about what he had just done. It was stupid to call the school or Ann Meadows. It made sense they were suspicious about him because he probably sounded eccentric on the phone. With regard to why Watts pled guilty, I didn't want anybody else. I didn't want them to go through this 2 or 4 years. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 to 4 years. They would have done anything I told them to do. I don't see how they can do that. That's what attorneys do. They take their defendant and they say, hey, what happened? Okay, we'll go with that story. This is what he is saying, you guys. So it sounds jacked up, but these are the thoughts of Chris Watts. A few weeks after his arrest, he told his attorneys the truth about everything that happened. His attorneys asked him if he was ever offered a plea to plead guilty. He would take it. He said he would plead guilty in order to end it all. His attorneys asked him about 100 times if he was sure if he wanted to take a plea deal. Before he walked into the courtroom, his attorney asked him again if he was sure he wanted to take a plea deal. His attorneys never told him he had to take the plea deal, and they had a lot of creative motions to file and were ready to fight. He told Walsh he didn't want him to fight for something where the story wasn't true because it would have only gotten worse for everyone. He does not regret taking a plea deal, but he never thought he'd be in prison for the rest of his life. For real though? What did he think was going to happen? Are you kidding me right now? This is making me irate. He is such an idiot. Sorry guys, this guy... Really? He didn't want for everyone to have to relive the case every day. Oh, how nice of him. He told his parents the night before he pled guilty that he was pleading guilty for a reason. His parents had received correspondence from people all over the world who told them the Thrive patch wasn't FDA approved and can alter someone's mind. His parents still believed he was railroaded and felt pressured to plead guilty. He does not feel he was pressured because his defense team asked him plenty of times. His parents talked to him about using the defense of CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, for being in an emotionally abusive relationship. He could relate to some of the information, but it doesn't make up for what happened. When he talks to his parents on the phone, they believe there is a chance he could get out of prison. On his parents' bad days, they tell him he should fight it. His mother loses it a lot on the phone. His dad always tells his mother not to talk about it with him on the phone because he, as in Watts, will go back to his cell and think about it all night. He plans on telling his parents the truth about what happened when they sit and visit with him in April and May. His parents sold his toolbox so they could afford their travel to blank. In October of 2018, prosecutors went to Sandy and Frank Rusick and asked them about a possible plea deal instead of the death penalty. His defense team told him there wasn't enough evidence on certain things and that he, Watts, told the defense team it needed to end. He felt like his attorneys were fair and were similar to guidance counselors. He felt like he, as in Watts, was in charge of his own decisions regarding his case. Anyone find it interesting to me that he now thinks that he's in control of his decisions on his case, but he says that he wasn't in control of his actions with his daughters and his wife? Total bullshit. Ridiculous. It says his attorneys told him he needed to show more emotion in court so he didn't look like a cold person. See, his attorneys are coaching him to make him not look so bad. His attorneys told him he could look at the crime pictures, and he, as in Watts, refused. He prayed for the hazmat workers and anyone else who had to see the aftermath. His attorneys told him if the case went to court, he would have to look at the pictures so he didn't have a reaction when they were shown in court. Watts asked if Sandy and Frank Rusick saw the crime scene pictures, and he was told no. He didn't want Sandy and Frank Rusick to have to see any of the pictures, hear anyone talk about what they saw, or hear anyone bash their daughter's memory. He wanted everyone to know Shannon was a loving wife and always helped everyone else. You guys, that says a lot as well, because there's so many people that are bashing Shannon, and even Chris wanted her to rest in peace, it sounds. I know it's not a lot coming from him, but he remembered we, as in Agent Lee, an SA coder, came into the room after his father left and tried to get the story from him. He wanted to bang his head against the table. He didn't want all of us, SA coder, Detective Balmover, or myself, to have to get in the witness stand and testify about what he saw, or what we saw. He didn't want everyone to have to relive what happened over and over for years. He felt like Shannon's family could start to have closure. With regard to his decision involved in not having the death penalty, when he was in his cell in the Weld County Jail, he felt like he should have died. All of the inmates would yell at him at night and would explain to him all the ways he could kill himself in his cell, by drowning himself in the toilet or hanging himself. He didn't kill himself because he felt like he may have a different purpose. He prayed to God that God would move him away from Colorado. He heard there was a hit on him in Colorado. He felt like he would last a week in Colorado Department of Corrections before someone would kill him. He felt like God moved him to blank for a reason. With regard to if Watts thought about trying to use the defense about Shannon killing the girls at trial, he never thought about Shannon killing the girls until it was mentioned to him during the interrogation. You see? I have mentioned that, you guys. After it was mentioned that Shannon may have killed the girls, he just, in quotes, just went with it. He knew his dad was out in the lobby, and his parents would probably believe Shannon was involved because they never liked Shannon. I never thought about that story, and that's what my attorneys were going with. 2 weeks after his arrest, he told his attorneys the truth about what happened, and they were quiet and wrote it down. His attorneys told him they wouldn't judge him and appreciated his honesty. With regards to Watts' past and his childhood, he was always someone who tried to coax people down. He was in one fight in his entire life, which was in 3rd grade, and he and the other kid ripped each other's shirts and left crying. He wasn't popular, but was never bullied in school. He had braces and a Jim Carrey bowl cut haircut. He never talked to many people at school, even though people knew who he was. He never had a girlfriend in high school and always just flew under the radar. He didn't have low self-esteem, but also didn't want to be a part of a group or a clique. He had a couple of friends and appreciated his close-knit relationships. His sister was always the popular one and was outgoing. He and his grandmother would sit outside the middle school, and his sister would always be the last one out of the school because she had to talk to everyone in the hallway. He was the opposite of his sister. He didn't want to be popular. He just wanted to be a regular guy. He could not recall anything he would have pent up from childhood. With regard to if and how his father's addiction affected him, his father became addicted to a white powdery substance, possibly cocaine, after he left home. His father's addiction didn't hurt him, as in Watts, as much as he thought it would. When he talked to his father about his addiction, his father immediately changed the subject. His father was coping with the fact that Watts never came home. His mother initially believed his father was having an affair because he couldn't account for his money. He, as in Watts, has never used drugs and tried to talk to his father about why he was using drugs. He told his father he was throwing his life away. His father lost a lot of weight and his nose bled all the time. After he, Watts, talked to his father stopped using drugs. He was always closer to his father than his mother. His father always came to every one of his sporting events. His father would come to his games even if he, Watts, wasn't going to play. He never saw his father cry. His mother was a loving mother and gave him affection. His mother always wanted to know how he felt. If there was something wrong, he would have never told anyone and dealt with it himself. I don't know if growing up that way kept me that way. Deal with the things on your own. But then they build up so much that you can't deal with them and they take a hold of you. You never thought, in a way, they could take a hold of you. That was a direct quote from Watts. With regard to Watts planting evidence, after he murdered Shannon, he threw her cell phone and Apple Watch on the couch. If he had planned it, he would have taken the items out to the oil tank site with him. He took off Shannon's wedding ring and put it on the counter so it looked like she didn't want to fix their marriage and wanted a divorce. He threw the therapy book away in the trash so it looked like she believed nothing would work in their marriage. He may have gone down to the basement to get trash bags, a motion alarm on the basement door. He does not recall going downstairs to work out that morning. With regard to what he did after he went into the house the afternoon of Monday, August 13th of 2018, Watts was in the house for approximately 1 minute before he went to the door and opened it for law enforcement. He went in through the garage door and opened the front door. He does not recall going down... Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going backwards here. He ran upstairs to pretend to look for Shannon and the girls. There we go. That's his one pretend where he was going to go up there. Oh, my gosh. Atkinson's son found Shannon's cell phone. With regard to Watts looking in the passenger side of Shannon's vehicle when he entered the garage, he does not recall looking in Shannon's vehicle. How convenient. But he possibly opened the passenger door because Atkinson had mentioned seeing the girls' car seats. He threw the sheet to their bed away the day after their murders. When you strangle someone, sometimes they evacuate their bowels, and that occurred with Shannon and was the reason he threw away the sheet. Oh my gosh. With regards to Watts' communication with his father the morning he picked him up from the airport, it was strange when he picked up his father because he knew it was probably the last time he would see him on the outside. His father just wanted to talk about sports when they were there in the car together. His father always tries to deflect the conversations and change the conversation when they needed to discuss something important. His father asked him, Watts, if he knew where Shannon and the girls were. Maybe he kind of figured something maybe happened and he just wanted to talk to me as a son. He was told that his father left during his Watts' entire polygraph and interview. Or he was told that his father never left during Watts' entire polygraph and interview. If his father knew what actually happened, his father would have told him to admit what he had done. His mother was always the more aggressive one in his parents' marriage. His and Shannon's marriage seemed to mirror Shannon's mom and dad's relationship. Shannon similar to her mother, and he, Watts, was like Shannon's father. Shannon's mother always told her she would marry someone like her father. Shannon's father always liked him because he helped fix Shannon's car when they were dating. He, Watts, has always been the one to help people, not hurt them. Watts never tried to change Shannon. Shannon's husband in her first marriage was more like her mother, and it didn't work. With regards to if Watts knew walking into the police department the morning of the polygraph that he would confess to what happened. Sorry, I had to get a drink, guys. Alright. He knew there was a reason he was brought back into the police department the following day. The polygraph was horrible. He was asked questions for 3 to 4 hours before the polygraph, and it's like you just break down somebody's brain to where, like, mush, true jello. I know you guys have a job, and you have a plan, and you executed it. He knew when he was asked about what he did on Saturday night, and he had to talk about the Rockies game, it was going to be a thorough interview. Walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out. With regards to Watts' media interviews, he never wanted to speak with the media. He felt like the media was going to continue to knock on his door until he answered. Nicole Atkinson called him and told him Fox would be at his house at 10:30 for an interview. He doesn't even want to know what he said or what he looked like on the news. Some people said he made it look worse after the fact, and he sure as heck did, man. He ended up just lying to more and more people by talking to the media. He heard he looked like a heartless, soulless person. With regard to if Watts spoke to Kessinger after the murders, he spoke to Kessinger on Monday, August 13th of 2018. He and Kessinger texted and then spoke on the phone. Kessinger said she believed Shannon took off with his daughters. On Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, Kessinger kept asking him weird questions through text messenger to try to determine if it was really him. Kessinger asked him what his dog's name was and what yoga studio he went to. It was possible Kessinger believed Shannon had his cell phone, and she was just making sure. Kessinger told him it was the last time he would hear from her, and she was going to stay with her friend, Jim. Kessinger told him not to contact her until this is done. Kessinger told him to delete everything on his cell phone. He didn't delete everything from Kessinger, and he is not sure why. When he was on vacation in San Diego, he told his friend Mark about Kessinger. Mark had a similar situation occur where he started dating a female who was engaged, and the female ended up cheating on him. He never completely opened up to Mark about Kessinger, and wished he did because Mark may have been able to offer him some advice. We're almost done. With regard to Kessinger being directly or indirectly involved in the murders, she, as in Kessinger, had her moments where I had to talk to her like off the edge or off the ledge kind of deal. There were videos of her, Kessinger, recording herself because she was bipolar. His father or his attorney told him about a few videos Kessinger made where she was talking about being bipolar. She would get worked up about nothing. Kessinger came to his house one time on July 4th of 2018. He woke up early the morning of July 4th, 2018 at Kessinger's house because he didn't have to work that day. When he woke up, he had 10 missed calls from Shannon. He went outside and called Shannon back, and Shannon was pissed. Shannon yelled at him and asked him where he was at. He told Shannon he was sleeping, and Shannon told him she didn't know where he was at and hung up on him. He went back inside and told Kessinger he had to go home in case Shannon called back. Kessinger asked him if he was going to come back, and he said no. Kessinger was pissed. He left. Kessinger said she felt like she was always going to be the second fiddle. Kessinger told him she researched online if mistresses could turn into a real relationship. Around the first week of August, he told Kessinger he talked to Shannon about separating, so Kessinger started looking for apartments for him. Kessinger never asked him to get rid of his family. His relationship with Kessinger contributed to the murders, but she never asked him to do anything. Kessinger never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she told him she wished she could have... Let me read this again. Kessinger never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she told him she wished she could give him a son. Kessinger never knew Shannon was pregnant. It was possible Kessinger saw Shannon was pregnant from Facebook, but Kessinger never mentioned it to him if she saw it. With regard to the possibility that he named his son Nico after Kessinger, Shannon picked the name for their son. He wanted to spell the son's name Nico, but Shannon said no. Nico is an Italian name that Shannon always liked. He did not get to pick any of his children's names, but he told Shannon he liked them. With regard to him looking up lyrics to the Metallica song Battery, Kessinger liked the song Battery and asked him what the song meant. He researched the meaning behind the lyrics and learned it referenced a family coinciding as a battery. He did not look up the lyrics to the song when he was driving to or from the oil site after the murders. Kessinger was into different types of music, and Battery was a song she asked him about because he knew Metallica very well. With regard to how Watts was doing mentally, he didn't know he was going to blank. When he was at the DRDC, which was the Denver Reception and Diagnostic Center, he was put through the ringer. He took 11 separate tests to figure out his IQ. His IQ was 135 or 140. After dinner one evening, he was told to change his clothes and was put into a van and transported to blank. He got staffed at the prison in blank and hopes to get a job soon. Jeezel. He has a female he sees at the prison who asks him how things are going and if he needs any psych meds. He has declined any and all psych medication. Most of the men in his unit are on medication. He tries to keep a low profile in prison. With regard to what food he misses the most, he misses Bojangles, Georgia Boy's barbecue, and Shannon's cooking, how ironic, spaghetti sauce and fried pizza. Shannon had her grandmother's recipe for pizza dough, and she made amazing pizza. You ruined that, buddy. It sounds like in this confession, you guys, he is realizing all of the things that he has lost, and I hope he feels like an absolute total piece of shit. With regard to what Watts has done with all the letters he received while in jail and prison, if someone writes to him once, he will not write them back. He keeps most of the supportive letters, but will throw away any of the weird letters. There is a male who is a high school senior who wrote to him, so he, Watts, threw the letter away. The same male wrote to him a few weeks ago and told him he supported him. I think we've heard about that. Many people, including journalists, have tried to write to him and ask him a lot of questions. He has responded to a few people, but they were people his parents had talked to, so he knew that they were real. Many people ask him, Watts, for spiritual advice. He had one female write to him who was in an abusive relationship and couldn't find a relationship with God. He had never read the Bible before going to prison, and has since read it cover to cover. He writes down a couple of scriptures a day for his parents. His uncle and aunt are missionaries, and we're amazed how mature he has become with the Bible. Oh, amazing. His, as in Watts' gift, is a great memory. So he tries to help people by memorizing scriptures. He has had other inmates write him just to ask him if he could send them some scriptures. If people ask about the case, he won't write them back. With regard to if he ever thought he'd love again, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street. What's his name? And that's blank. He heard blank got engaged over a letter, and that's pretty insane. He heard one female sent him a letter while he was in Colorado, which included a picture of her in a bikini, and the press found out. He does not write back anyone associated with the media. The blank news stations have asked to talk to him, and the prison has declined. He has never thought about writing a book. His parents have suggested he write down how he feels and how he has been dealing with everything. He has always had a crazy imagination ever since he was a little kid. He convinced his teacher in grade school that he went to Japan or China over the summer, which was not true. See? He is a pathological liar, could not tell the truth if his life depended on it. He wrote a whole story about it, and his teacher even believed him. Good Lord. With regard to what Watts thinks of himself now, this ought to be good, you guys. When he was incarcerated in Weld County, he didn't feel like himself. He wondered how any of his friends could say good things about him after what happened. He shouldn't take to heart what people think about him, because what God thinks about him is the only thing that matters now. He asked God for forgiveness. I was hoping that they could one day forgive me too. I don't know who they is, but maybe it's everybody, maybe it's the Rusiks. He has made some good things in his life, but he screwed up the most important thing. Sorry guys, I had to put in a cough drop. He hopes he can help other people with the time he has left. It's going to take a long time for the guilt to go away. People are defining him by one moment in his life. I never knew I could have a relationship with God like I do now. It's like the amazing grace with all of this, but I just wish nobody had to pay any kind of price for this. I know there is a purpose for everybody. I just hope I can find mine. With regard to what he could have said in order for him to have told us the truth during his interview, with regard to what we could have said in order for him to have told us the truth during the interview at the Frederick Police Department. When he was in the interrogation room, he was nervous, knew he did something wrong, and knew we were going to find out. He has watched enough TV shows, but never talked to a police officer in the past. He struggled with the horror of knowing what he did and trying to tell someone else about it. He didn't even want to admit to himself what he had done. He knew that what he did was horrific and how much it could hurt other people. He couldn't admit to himself that he had done it, so he couldn't admit it to the police. He believed if he wasn't asked about Shannon hurting the kids, it may have come out a different way. He believed if we would have lied and told him we saw the video of the kids in the trunk, he would have told us the truth. He asked to talk to his dad because he wanted to tell him he loved him and that it was probably the last time he would see him outside of his cell. He felt like the interviewers leaving the room from the time gave him Watts time to stew and was a successful tactic. He had never seen the picture before of his two girls, which we showed him during the interrogation. He had never seen Celeste wearing the white dress in the picture. The picture of Celeste and Bella we showed him may have come from when they were in North Carolina. Showing him pictures of the girls during the interrogation definitely got in my head. He didn't show any emotion when we showed him the picture because he is the type of person to hold it all in and not show emotion. At the end of the interview, we left the prison as Watts was required to eat lunch and be present during their count. We told Watts we may return after lunch to ask him additional questions, and he said okay. Essay Coder also told Watts we may come back in a month, in a year, or even 2 years to speak with him to keep it in the back of his head. We returned to the prison several hours later to speak with Watts. We told Watts we had additional questions regarding the events of August 13, 2018. Watts agreed to answer the additional questions, which are reflected above in the timeline provided by Watts. At the end of the interview, we thanked Watts for speaking with us and asked him we asked him if he would speak to us again in the future. Watts agreed. We asked Watts what he wanted to have happen in the information he provided us. Watts said he figured we would most likely tell Sandy, Frank, and Frankie Rusek about what he said to give them closure. Detective Baumover said he wasn't sure what he would tell the Rusek family, and he had no intention on telling anyone what he said outside of law enforcement. Watts said he would appreciate being able to tell his parents about what happened before they heard it anywhere else. Before the interview concluded, I asked Watts if I could take a picture of him for the file. Watts agreed, and the 2 pictures I took are attached to this report. We are done with the report, you guys. These are the pictures. Wow. Just wow. What are you guys thinking? While you guys are chatting up here and we're looking at this disgusting picture of this man, I'm checking on my downloads here on my other computer. Let me see where we're at. Oh, of course it wants to be stupid. Bear with me 1 second. So I find it ironic, you guys, that he was saying that all of these things that he felt like he wasn't going to make it in the Wisconsin prison, and all of these people were telling him all the ways that he could kill himself and stuff. And it seems like he feels a little bit more comfortable where he is right now. Now that all of this has come to light, I don't think he's going to feel as comfortable. What do you guys think? At least I sure as heck hope not. Yeah, it explains. We got a lot of information here, you guys. This explains a lot. Even if he's lying on half of it, think of how much we just learned. Even that half. How many pages was that? Hold on. We just went through... It's not going to tell me, is it? Oh, crap. It does tell you page numbers. We went through 29 pages. That is an overview of the audio. Let me get my downloaded audio here, and I'm going to try, while we're talking about this, my little one is still sleeping, you guys. That's how sick he is right now. It is breaking my heart. I am downloading these here. Let me see where we're at. Alright, guys, I have the Chris Watts audio. For some reason, it downloaded a few different times. Let me see. Are these all the same? Recording 2, recording 2. Shoot, I need recording 1. Okay, recording 2 has downloaded. Recording 1, I'm downloading right now. Let me go check on my little one for 2 seconds, you guys. Give me 1 second. You can continue to chat in here. I will seriously be right back. I am working on... Let me see here. Hold on a second. Let's bring this back down here. I'm working on this audio, so give me just a second. Alright, I'm back, you guys. Sorry, I had to go check on my little one. Are you asking, Christy Andrews, are you asking how I got this report? Is that what you're asking? I agree that something seems off about her involvement as well, you guys. I have, hey, awesome. You guys, I have Colorado Crime Con. She's going to come on. Let me start up Zoom. 1 second, Crime Con. If you're on here, I see your message. Give me 1 second. I'm going to message you. So we're going to get another one's opinion. We are getting Miss Crime Con's opinion. So bear with me. Let's see. Oh, come on. Let's see here. All right, guys. I got to give Jenny the number. Give me 1 second. We're going to get her in here, you guys. All right. And I got to give you, that's the number, Jenny. The meeting ID is next. All right, cool. So we are getting Jenny in here. We got Miss Colorado Crime Con. All right, let me bring her up in here so we can get a window capture and we can hear her, you guys. All right, we're in Zoom. All right, Jenny, I'm ready for you. Yes, the second one is the meeting ID. Let me know if you have any issues with that, Jenny. Yes, yes, Shalabella. He did say that he was, that NK was bipolar. Hey, everybody that's joined. I greatly appreciate it. I am in the process here. I've got the second recording going on. The first recording is still downloading. Let's see here. Oh, wait, it's here. Oh, and we have Jenny. Jenny. What do you think of this?
Hey,
Let me turn up my volume 1 second. I gotta get you on here. Let's see.
No worries.
Okay. All right, Jenny, you're on. What do you
Sweet,
feel
sweet.
about this?
He's a piece of trash.
Right.
He so just okay. I live in Weld County.
Yeah.
So let's start there. The Weld County Jail is a very interesting place to be. Because the way that it is set up is they don't necessarily have a segregation unit. They have segregation cells within the pods.
Okay.
So you've got guys that are in their cells 23, 24 hours a day, and then you've got guys that are allowed to roam all day, every day,
Oh,
harassing
wow.
the hell out of them.
Wow. Okay. So that would be why he was scared.
Well, and so the Weld County is interesting. So they don't segregate, child molesters, baby killers, wife beaters. They don't separate them out. They
Wow.
don't have a specific pod for that.
That's crazy.
So, right? I'm like, this is justice to like just let prison justice happen. Like
Right.
just save the tax dollars and let prison justice happen.
Heck yeah.
It's happening one way or another.
Yeah. And did you hear how he said he thought about offing himself, basically? He thought about killing himself, yet he ended up killing the girls instead. What a joke.
Off himself. He's a joke.
He is. A freaking piece of work.
NK is far more involved than anybody would like to admit.
I agree.
I think between Mama Watts and NK, they filled his head with so much crap against Shannon and the kids that he snapped.
Absolutely.
He finally lost it. And I've heard that, Thrive patches have caused a ton of issues. I have seen that. And just working in the hospital, I've seen people lose their minds because of these Thrive patches.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Tell me more about that. I've thought that. So I'm curious.
So,
what do you see?
We see a lot of people that just like have these mental breakdowns, like absolute mental breakdowns, because these patches don't allow people to sleep. It keeps them up. It's essentially legal speed.
Haha,
like if we think Ritalin is bad,
yeah,
and we're giving 5-6-year-old kids Ritalin, which is again legal speed, but we're just telling adults here's some more cocaine, here's some more things that are essentially banned. We're just making it legal.
Right. Okay. So that's messed up.
So in the case that it was caused by his Thrive patches, which again, I don't know. I think he's just mentally unstable himself. I think because Mama Watts was so out of control and so controlling that once he finally broke away and moved to Colorado, he went off the deep end because he didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like that. He even mentioned that time in North Carolina screwed it up as well. Like, he wished they would have only gone for a week instead of 6 weeks, and he stayed with NK every single night. I didn't know that. Like, I, kind of jokingly said he was living the bachelor life, but he straight up admitted that, and he admitted to going there to be away from thinking about his family. That's messed up.
And I think this goes back to just the fundamental breakdown of what family means.
Right.
I think because we have this fundamental breakdown, it's out of control. There's no longer value on the family unit when a single mom with 6 kids can make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
By living off of, my tax dollars, which, I don't like. I don't agree with it. There's so much that is leading up to this, and everybody's replaceable.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the mindset. Everybody's replaceable. My parents half jokingly told me growing up, I could make another one of you.
I mean, it's true, right?
I mean, it's true, but as a kid that had a lot of disciplinary issues,
I was that
didn't
kid.
necessarily. I was such a shit. Looking back on it now, I'm like, oh my God, how did I survive?
Oh, I was too. I put my parents through some stuff. I can only imagine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, do I think, Shanann was perfect? No, absolutely not. Everybody has their faults. Was her fault so bad that she deserved to die? No.
Exactly. I agree.
Was he screwed up enough to say to have sex with her before he killed her?
Right. Right. And you know what? Someone actually mentioned to me yesterday in my chat. Now, he said they did it missionary style. And I only bring that up because someone in my chat yesterday said, you know what I think? I think they might have done it like doggy style and he strangled her from behind. He mentioned when we just read all this stuff, he said he didn't see Shanann's face, didn't want to see Shanann's face, but didn't cover it up. So was he behind her?
Interesting.
Right. Some of the things he said, like, I don't think he completely told the truth, but I do feel that there's a lot of truth in that document. We went through 29 pages. There's got to at least be a quarter of it true. And some of these details are just so disturbing.
Well, and I think he signed his own death warrant, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think he's getting out of this what he wants, his death.
Absolutely.
Think about that. If he's in a unit with other psych patients, it's because he's made statements along the way to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
He signed his own death warrant. This is what he wanted. He wanted his death warrant, and he wanted it on record. Because this way he can continue to play the victim card even in his death.
Yeah, that's true. Such a victim.
Because nothing is ever his fault. He's God's gift to mankind.
Yeah.
And, hey, I did nothing wrong.
Oh, exactly. Never. He's never going to admit to doing anything wrong.
No, never.
He's perfect.
Yeah. He's God's gift to mankind.
Yeah. Oh. It makes me so upset. Like, I'm not one to normally read things like this and show emotion, but when I was reading what he did to Bella and Celeste, I had to stop. I couldn't help myself. What he did to those poor little girls, and he had 45 minutes to do something else. He could have killed himself. He could have had those girls picked up. He could have called Nicole Atkinson like, look, I've done a horrible thing. Come get these girls. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Bloody hell, he could have left them in the house.
That too. Yeah. Yeah, it's not best to leave, a 4 and a 3-year-old in the house, but it's better than killing them.
Probably not, but it's better than, what happened.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not advocating to leave your small children at home alone.
No,
that is not what I'm advocating for. Just so I'm clear. I don't want somebody to come back and say, you said to leave my small child at home and now I have CPS at my doorstep. I didn't say that.
No, I agree. Yeah, we're on the same page with that. But hey, at the same time though, in his situation, leaving them home and calling somebody, calling the neighbor, calling Nicole Atkinson, calling another one of their friends and saying, hey, look, you're not going to see me anymore and you're not going to see Shanann anymore, but I need these girls to be safe. I've done something bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, save them. What are you doing? And now this jackass is alive and all of those sweet girls and that sweet woman, they're gone. Why?
Well, and I had told somebody, I was like, she definitely gave birth. There's not a chance in hell she didn't. There's not a chance in hell she didn't miscarry, just based on the body's natural reaction in death.
And did you hear what he said?
Uh-huh.
That made me so sad. He saw that baby.
Yeah.
And he still did what he did. Like, I mean, obviously there was nothing that he could have done at that point, but then he still continued on with all of these lies. Like, at that point, that's where I would have offed myself. Like, I mean, if that would have had to have been the last straw. Yet this jackwagon just got right back in his truck and decided to proceed like normal. I can't. Oh,
I can't either. It's heartbreaking. It's upsetting, and
it's awful.
It's a reminder that life is precious and it can be taken away in an instant.
100%. I agree with you.
I mean, as much as I'll laugh and joke around, I tell people, My profession is I laugh in the face of death.
You have to.
And I have to. Because otherwise I would lose my damn mind.
It's a defense mechanism.
I would go nuts. Because,
Yeah.
you see this crap day in and day out. And most of the time I'm just desensitized to it and it doesn't affect me. Like, I'm not, like, emotionally, I don't have this knee-jerk emotional reaction. Will it hit me later? Absolutely.
Right.
But, come on, your family, your entire family.
I know,
and you're
right?
going to sit here and say that you wish you wouldn't have done it? What?
Yeah. Like, you could have stopped it. You didn't have to continue to do this, especially with the girls. Like, I was saying yesterday in one of mine, like, I know that there are a lot of people in jail that would be like, okay, baby mama drama, your wife, I get it. Your kids, they don't get it. That's something they're not going to get, and you're going to be screwed. Like, they're not going to understand that, and they're not going to be happy with that. And I feel like even though he feels more secure in this Wisconsin prison, after today, I don't think that's going to happen. There's no way that it can't.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be all over the news.
Absolutely.
All over the news. These details are going to come out. And he has officially signed his death warrant.
Absolutely. I've got someone asking.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Hey, the audio is coming. I'm actually working on it right now. As I'm talking to Jenny, you probably see some screens coming up. I am working on putting this in a video together right now. YouTube will not let me just put audio together. I actually have to put something behind it, like a picture, a video, a something. So currently, right now, I am... Oh, crap, it's going to make me buy this darn program. I am in the process of getting it together. So the audio file 1 is almost together and it's going to be uploaded. It's going to take a minute because it's really long. So give me a second. But it's coming, I promise. We're just chatting. I'm chatting with Miss Crime Con, and we are Colorado Crime Con, and she's giving the opinion because she has been in this situation, or not in this situation. She has been in the area. She is from the area and has a little bit more insight. She's also in the medical field. So she has insight into some of these things that we just learned as well. You're at work right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
No, it's all good. I'm not worried.
I know, it just sucks to...
I know, it sucks, but, gotta pay the bills somehow.
Don't know it.
Stupid bills.
I know, right? Darn bills.
I mean, I would be in content creation full time if I didn't have bills to pay, but I have bills to pay.
I understand.
I can't run around, and last I saw, Jay had 12,000, 14,000 viewers.
Holy crap, just now?
When I last checked, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
that's
she's
crazy.
Killing it.
That is crazy. I know I'm going to upload the audio. I wanted to do a recap of everything because I know people don't have 5 hours to sit around and listen to audio. So I was trying to give everybody a recap. I don't have the
attention span for it.
I know, right? Like when the Nicole Kessinger stuff came out, my husband and I were listening to it and he's just like, come on, seriously right now? Like we're doing this? And because it's hard to pay attention. It's hard to listen. And so I wanted to give the overview to everybody. And then if you want to listen to the audio on your own, then you absolutely can. That's what I'm working on as we speak. I am trying to work on getting that together, so it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's insane. I don't understand. I really don't.
I don't either. You guys, this first audio file is 3 hours long, so that's why it's taking so long. Yeah, it's 3 hours long. Let's see here. I don't need any of this junk. What I need is for you to download it. It's like, well, do you want to add this? Do you want to add that? No, I want you to just do your darn job.
No, I just want you to download for me, please. And thank you.
I just need to
not take all day.
Yeah.
Wait.
Pretty please and thank you.
I downloaded a 20-minute audio file for a project I'm working on. And it took all day. Granted, my computer's 9 years old now. But I can't afford a new one, so we're just going to work with what we got.
Jeez, yeah. I've got someone saying, please respect the victims. Hey, mods, if you see anything out here that's ridiculous, please delete it. If someone's being overboard, please kick them out. This is not a time or place to even play around. I'm not dealing with the shit, so get him out of here, please. I
I
won't
was
deal.
booting. I booted a couple people. I was like, okay, not necessary.
No, get out of here. I thank you for that. I haven't had the time to look, and I need these people out of here. I don't. You guys, we're
It's
dealing
just
with enough right now.
like, and realize everybody's human.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a matter. Yeah, yes, we're people behind a screen, but
Get Flower
we
out
are
of here,
human.
guys. Whatever
And
Flower's doing, get him out.
come on, guys,
Right.
just be respectful.
Yeah, it's
It
ridiculous.
it takes nothing to be respectful.
Nothing. No, it's free. Hey guys, I am you're going to be able to get the audio on my YouTube page. I have to pay for this video editing software right now, so because it's 3 hours long, it's not letting me upload anything longer than a certain period of time. So, I'm upgrading right now. Here we go. I got confirmation of that. Let me print that. All right, so now it should let me export this, and then I'm going to be able to upload this to YouTube. They're huge files, you guys. That's why it's taking so long.
Yeah, these are not itty bitty files.
Yeah, no.
Audio files in and of themselves are huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if
So
you
when
guys
you're
want to
talking-
listen, you are more than welcome to go over to JS for Justice. I know she has the audio on right now. You're going to pop into an hour and 38 minutes in the audio, so you may be a little lost, but she is doing a live with all of the audio. So if you don't want to wait for me, I understand. Hey, I get it. No hate on here. Go ahead. I'm working on it, I promise. If you want to come back and check it out at your own time, I will be able to get that to you soon. It's 2 hours, 58 minutes, 40 seconds is the first one I'm uploading. My
And
gosh.
if you guys want this yourselves, you're going to have to submit a CORA request to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, it has to
They
go to
are
the
not
CBI.
releasing it to the public.
Nope. That's why I've been asked that too. Like, how can I get this? How can I get this? I'm like, I had to go through the CBI. I was given the runaround for almost a week.
Yeah. CBI is not a court agency where they, can upload it to their website. That's not how they work. You have to put in a Colorado open records access request.
Yes, absolutely. They made me do that, and I did that yesterday. Why is it saying that I'm on my free plan? Yo, bro, I just paid. There we go.
You may have to log out and log back in.
I think it just let me. I had to go to my profile and restart it. Here we go for the love. Yes. Okay. I know, this is freaking ridiculous. Okay.
If you want me to cut it up, let me know, and I'll totally
Yes. That'd be amazing. What I was trying to get done is, okay, it's uploading right now, but it has 2 hours and 45 minutes to go. So it's going to take a second. What I was thinking of doing, maybe you can help me with this. I want to get like a highlight reel kind of put together either today or tomorrow so that people that don't have 5 hours to sit and listen can still listen to the most important parts. That's my goal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you want me to cut up some audio, let me know, and I'll totally cut it up.
Awesome. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I'll get something to you. I think I'm buffering right now, guys, because I've got this downloading on here. So let me know if you can't hear me or anything.
Just refresh your YouTube, not yours, but everybody just refresh, and it should work out.
See, Jenny's the bomb. Heck yeah, mine worked out too. Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, but with Zoom, it seems to take so much memory up when it's operating that a lot of times it'll cause a lag. But once they refresh their stream, it should equalize out.
It probably doesn't help that I am also downloading a video on this exact. I'm trying to export the video too.
Probably not.
Not at all. It may cut us out here in a second, but it's all good. We're working on it, so we've got all of that.
Good.
Okay, so someone has a question that I want to be explained. So It says, "Hey, can you please clarify for all that he said he saw the partially birthed fetus before burying her?" That is correct.
That is correct. 100% correct.
Jenny, what do you know about coffin birth? And can you kind of give us a little bit of an explanation if you know anything about that?
So coffin birth happens at time of death. So when you're actively dying, your body releases a whole bunch of hormones that causes you to evacuate anything and everything possible, including a pregnancy. So baby will be born, stillborn, just due to and it could have even been just the high amounts of stress hormone that she had flowing through her body at the time that caused her to start the miscarriage, and she didn't actually deliver until out of the oil site, because that would line up with the timeline.
Yeah. He said that when he started to bury her is when he saw that. There was a mention of no blood, really, but there was a mention of the fetus, so people were confused. They just say...
Well, there's no heart rate, so blood is not going to be flowing.
Okay, so because Shannon was already dead, that means that... Okay, so to be clear, everybody, that's why he wouldn't have seen blood, but he would have seen the fetus. And we do have a medical expert on with us right now, so that's why I'm asking her. She has a lot more knowledge in the medical field than I do, so she's the one that's giving us this information. I have looked into coffin birth because I had heard of this, and that was one thing that just, like, blew my mind and made me so sad about this situation. But that's part of it, is simply the fact that now we know he saw it. Like, and then Bella's actual last words were, I think it was, "No, Daddy, don't."
Yes.
Oh. As he smothered her with the same blanket he smothered her sister. Like,
yep.
What kind of a sicko are we dealing with here? Like, these pictures on here, this guy does not look like... He looks like a Ted Bundy. He looks like that guy who people want to be around. He looks like that guy who, women would, like, swoon over. And
well, that's why the world is captivated by this case. Because they seemed like the normal all-American family.
Yeah.
They seemed like they were living the dream. They had the nice house. They had the 2 kids. They had a baby on the way. They were going, everything that seemed normal.
Yeah.
But the monster hid within.
Yeah, I agree. I know. Hey, what do you know about, what is it, Munchausen by proxy or whatever? I can't say that to save my life, but do you know a lot about that?
Hold on, technical difficulties.
You're good, you're good.
Oh, please.
I've got a cat that's ticked off at me that she's upstairs right now, and I'm not letting her out, so.
No, there we go. We're good. My headphone died, and I was having technical difficulties.
Hey, Jennifer Layton, it's been requested that you become a mod, so I'm making you a mod. 1 sec. Where are you at? Here you are, Jennifer. All right, you're my last mod, Jennifer. I'm not doing it again. I'm just kidding.
Well, welcome to the Mod Squad.
The Mod Squad.
I have a Facebook chat called the Mod Squad.
That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Cool. Darlene, thank you. I see people are timing out people for all of their junk. Thank you. I appreciate it more than you would know. This is not a place we need to bash anybody. This was where we were trying to get a conclusion and hopefully ease people's mind that maybe we get some closure. I wasn't expecting a lot of what we heard, you guys. I don't know what's true. What do you think? Jenny, what are your thoughts on him and his truth? Do you think he's telling a lot of truth? Do you think he's total bullshit? What are your thoughts?
I think he's mostly bullshit. I think there's some truth in there, but I think he's mostly bullshit. I think he's trying to downplay everything and play himself out to be the victim. Exactly, I agree. He's lied before. He'll continue to lie. He doesn't believe. I don't think he believes most of what he's saying. He's just trying to pacify people. That's all.
I would have
He's trying
to
pacify. He's trying to pacify investigators. He's trying to pacify and keep himself relevant.
Hey, I mentioned that yesterday. I feel like this whole Crystal Kinney, Patrick Frazee thing stole his thunder, and he wants to be back in the news again. I feel like that's the one thing he has going for him right now. Yep. The one thing. Yeah. attention, and that we're giving it to him. But honestly, there are so many people out there that simply want closure in this case, because I feel like it's made people look at their significant other or their partner or whoever and think, could you do this to me? Because I didn't see this in him. And I think it's made people question life. I think it's made people question a lot of things.
I mean, there's so many different answers to, your problems, but murder is not it.
So, I so agree. That should never be a solution. And you know what? I don't ever want to condone suicide either. But why wouldn't you just get rid of one person, yourself, who's having the problem versus everybody else who didn't even do anything? Like, that's what I don't understand either. Is it just this whole, like, glory thing? He needs to be here, and I don't know. Is his life really that amazing behind prison? I'd think it'd be pretty crappy.
I think because of the population that he's living with currently, that is mostly drugged up and can't really do much, he feels safe.
Well, I hope after all this comes out that he is no longer safe. No threats on him. That is not what I don't want anyone to think that at all. I just know how it works. And I know how it is in prison. And I doubt he will feel safe anymore. He seems to feel pretty good in his skin right now. I doubt he's going to feel that for much longer.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Word will get out. I mean, if he thinks that he's going to escape the hit that was on him here in Colorado, he's not.
Yeah, no. People talk from prison to prison.
You don't think somebody's intentionally going to get transferred to Dodge?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the fact that what he did to Bella, and he admittedly did it to Bella, and he was just like, yeah, and then she watched me drag her mom down the stairs, and then she watched me kill her sister, and then I killed her. Are you joking me right now? And then he says, I don't know why I couldn't stop. Oh, okay. He said that while he was doing it to Shannon. So he thought about it then. So even if maybe Shannon was a rage killing, the other, and this is giving him the benefit of the doubt, even if Shannon was a rage killing, the others, he still had plenty of time to think about not doing it or doing it and how he was going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, I wish I thought maybe I could save my babies. Maybe I could, I could have saved those girls. You could have. You should have, you jackass.
He should have done a lot of things,
Come
like
on.
leave the marriage, but,
Someone says, personally, I think when he drops dead, someone should donate his brain to medical science, and I agree. Hey, little guy. My sleepy boy just came to see me. Hi, baby.
Oh, my man.
Say hi. Say hi, YouTube world. He's pointing.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, you say hi? He's like, where's my snack and my drink?
He's like, Mom.
I know, right? Like, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? Here's your drink, buddy. This stuff is just crazy, you guys. Like, I mean, having my little boy in my hands, and he's miserable and sick, and even, like, at our worst, I could still never imagine, like, life without this little guy, let alone me being at the hands of it. I just don't understand how people think that way.
I don't either, honestly. It blows my mind. I mean, even, watching deliveries happen almost daily, I still see, babies being left at the hospital.
Oh my gosh. How does somebody do that?
Because they're in the midst of an addiction, and they don't want to be charged with child abuse.
That's ridiculous. Child abuse. Oh, nope, it's not letting me. I keep getting denied access. I'm logged into too many Google Drive accounts here, and I'm trying to get that picture to come up here. I'll show you guys this Jack Wagons picture again. Bear with me 1 second. He looks like such an idiot. If you see his eyes. He
looks so different. If you look at his booking photo.
Yeah, his eyes. I mean, look at those eyes.
I mean, I don't know if it's just the weight and the reality of what he's done has finally set in, or if he's finally sober.
I don't know. He says he's never done drugs. I don't know if I believe that. He looks up oxy, 80 milligram oxy. Don't know why, but I mean, his eyes are so deep and sunken in his face. Like, maybe it is lack of sleep, but he looks like he's not even there.
He could even be medicated. We don't know.
That's very true too. He says that
just because he says it doesn't mean it's true, though. He could be trying to play it off.
No, this is true.
This could even this could be a setup for an appeal.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. And he says that he's been offered medication and that someone asks him if he would like the medication and he says no. So
he's been prescribed medication.
He had to have been. Just to go in there
and talk to them. He's been prescribed medication.
Just to go in there and talk to them, he had to be on something. Let's see what his... I wonder if we can...
There's no way that you're going to be living on a psych unit unless you've been prescribed meds.
Crap, I can't make this any bigger. I was trying to see what his tag says. Yeah, okay, guys, look, that's his intake photo right there. I know it's super freaking small, but his intake photo is on his badge. And then you look at him now. He looks like a killer now. A piece of shit.
It's because he is.
I know. Ugh, it makes me so angry. So angry. No. Dang it.
It's so senseless. I mean, between this and Kelsey and Mindy Lee and Joey Carlson, these are all senseless.
They are.
I mean, you could go down a rabbit hole in Colorado alone.
It's getting really bad.
It's been bad for a long time. I mean, you're talking Joey Carlson, I think was 2008.
Geez, so this has been going on for 11 years? If not more?
Yeah, I think Joey Carlson and Mindy Lee are both out of Teller County. And yeah, I think it was 2008 or 2009.
That's crazy. When was Mindy Lee? That was like at least 6 years ago, wasn't it?
I think it was 2013.
Okay, yeah, so 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to know a lot more about that. I've been following Dad with a phone, trying to figure out what's going on with that. I know he has a lot of information, but I know he almost seems like he gets terrified talking about it too because it's corrupt. All the corruptness, man.
Yep. I mean, you're talking about a man that lives in Teller County.
Exactly. Someone who definitely has to watch his back.
A man that lives in Teller County, his family's in Teller County. I can tell you from sitting with Mrs. Underground for an entire day, she worries about him.
Oh, I'm sure my husband worries about me. I mean, and the things that I talk about.
Yeah, she worries, what happens if he goes away.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, man, if that happens for something like this, that would be absolutely ridiculous. That would tick me off because all this guy is trying to do is bring justice and peace, bring awareness to what's going on, and I feel like they have a target on his back.
Oh, absolutely.
So it seems like just the whole area is just kind of corrupt. Someone's asking what my first name is. I go by Kay. My first name's Caitlin. People call me Kay, Katie, Caitlin. Whatever, I don't care.
Whatever you would like to call me.
Exactly. So Judy Ron asked me the other day, he's like, hey, what's your first name? I'd like for it to be a little bit more personalized when I talk to you. I'm like, it's Caitlin. My husband, when he comes on here, his name is Grady. It's Brady with a G. So everyone calls him Brady, and he's like, oh, whatever. There was a girl we used to work with that called him Gravy.
That's awesome.
It was hilarious. Can you hit on phone call to school? People think that a woman called the school. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a woman that called the school, but we're not exactly sure who that was, right?
It is believed that it was NK.
Okay, yeah, because I know that at one point, the Rusiks, I know Sandy called, but that was just kind of confirming that someone else had called and to see if the girls had made it. There was a female that called shortly after Chris Watts called, and he admitted that was super stupid. And there was someone that called right after him, and we're thinking it was NK. But you know what? I was also led to believe that it might have been his sister. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know if that's true. I don't think his sister's involved at all. I really don't.
I don't either. I know that people said that, you know, there was a lot of hate between the family and between his sister and stuff, and maybe that's where that comes into, is that people are thinking that she didn't like Shanann. She didn't want to be around her. Oh, my little boy is upset. Here, baby. Want some breakfast? He's like, no, I just want to play with all your electronics.
He's like, give me the mouse. I'll take over.
You want to talk to Jenny? Say hi, Jenny.
Aw,
This little guy
buddy.
doesn't feel good. Come here.
I understand. That's how I feel when I'm sick, too.
I know, right? He is not feeling it. But he likes to sit on my lap and watch me work, which is hilarious. So he's just hanging out right
Star in
now.
the making.
Uh-huh. Yep.
We're gonna have another Ella running around.
Yep. That's for sure. He's going to be like, subscribe, comment, like. Ella is a doll. She is so cute.
Right. She's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
She knew I was in a mood when we got home, and she was doing everything in her power to make me laugh.
Oh, that's so cute. How old? She's not very old. Is she like 7 or 8?
I think she's 4.
Oh my goodness. She is a doll. She's absolutely a doll. Yeah, that's Mommy's computer. He's like, oh, wow. Here, you want to watch a movie? You're so silly, kid. All right. Well, I think I am going. He's adorable. Thank you. He's my little man. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end this so that I can get the audio going. Let me see how. Yeah, I'm 4% downloaded on my audio video. So I need to get out of all these programs so that it can download. And then I'm going to upload this as soon as possible, guys. So if you want to go back through and listen to anything, it's been a 2-hour live. So the first hour and 15 minutes or so is the information that comes directly from the report. And then we kind of talk about it after that. So I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to upload the audio files. There's 2. It's going to take a minute. I'm going to get those on YouTube. And then hopefully I'm going to connect with Colorado Crime Con here. And we're going to get you a highlight reel together so you don't have to watch the whole 5 hours. So we will get it together for you guys. We'll get it figured out. And I will be in touch soon.
For sure. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, thank you so much. You are the best. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate it. I know I love your insight, so thank you so much.
Of course.
You have a wonderful day, lady.
You too.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Little man says bye, too.